It's Saturday afternoon, 1975. You're 8 years old, walking to the corner shop with a note and 50 pence. 20 Embassy number 6, please. The shopkeeper doesn't blink, grabs the packet, hands it over. You skip home happily with cigarettes for your mum. Today, that's a crime. But in the 1970s, it was just another Saturday. Times changed, laws tightened, and today, we're going over 19 things that were completely normal in 1970s Britain, but would land you in serious trouble now. The cane, 3 words that still send shivers down spines. If you went to school in the 70s, you knew it, you feared it, and chances are you experienced it. Inside, he'd have you hold your hands out, palm up, arms straight. The cane would come down once, twice, 3 times, sometimes 6 if you'd really stepped out of line. The crack would echo down the corridor. You felt the sting immediately, sharp and burning. Your eyes watered, but you didn't cry. Crying made it worse. Girls got the slipper, usually a plimsoll from the PE cupboard, across the backside in front of the whole class, sometimes on the back of the legs if you were wearing a skirt. It stung for hours, left red marks that lasted days. And your parents, they didn't complain. More often than not, they agreed with it. Spare the rod, spoil the child. That's what people believed. The state finally banned corporal punishment in 1986, but private schools kept going. Some continued until 1998, over a decade longer. Today, raising a hand to a child in school is assault, criminal, unthinkable. But in the 70s, it was just called discipline, and everyone accepted it as normal. Climb the narrow, winding stairs of any double-decker bus in 1970s Britain, and you'd enter another world entirely. A world made of blue-grey smoke that hung in the air like fog. Every seat on the upper deck had ashtrays built into the armrests. Metal, stained brown, overflowing with cigarette butts and ash. The smell hit you before you even reached the top step. Stale tobacco, old ash, that distinctive scent that clung to your clothes for hours after you'd gotten off. It wasn't just allowed, it was expected, encouraged even. The top deck belonged to smokers. If you wanted fresh air, if you valued your lungs, you stayed downstairs. But if you were a teenager desperate to look cool, to fit in, to seem older than you were, you went upstairs. Sat at the very back if you could, lit up a number 6 or a Players, pretended you'd been smoking for years, did your best not to cough. The Health Act 2006 changed everything. Smoking on public transport became a criminal offence overnight, fines up to £200. The ashtrays were ripped out, the top deck finally cleared, fresh air returned. Today, even thinking about lighting a cigarette on a bus would get you thrown off. In the 70s, not smoking up there was the odd thing to do. 4, 5, sometimes 6 kids crammed onto the bench seat of the Ford Cortina or Austin Allegro. No belts, no car seats, no restraints whatsoever, just squeeze in tight. Hold on when Dad takes corners too fast. Try not to slide into each other when he brakes. Long journeys were absolute chaos. Kids bounced around like pinballs, stood up to look out the window, leaned forward between the front seats to chat, knelt backwards on the seat, facing the rear window, pulling faces at the car behind. On motorways, this was entertainment. Your parents didn't tell you to sit down, didn't tell you to stay still. That's just what kids did, how they passed the time. If there really wasn't enough room, you sat in the footwell, down by people's feet, curled up small, or you stood in the middle between the 2 rows, holding on to the front seats for balance. This was just normal family travel back then. The seatbelt law finally came in 1983. Front seats first, had to wear them, no choice. Rear seatbelts became mandatory equipment in all new cars by 1986. But it took until 1991, another 5 years, for actually wearing them in the back to become law. Before that, you were entirely on your own. If the car stopped suddenly, you flew forward. That's basic physics, but nobody seemed to care much about that back then. 3 pints at the local, then drive home. Not just acceptable, but expected. One for the road meant exactly what it said. The breathalyzer came in 1967, but enforcement was weak and attitudes were even worse. A few beers never hurt. You drove slower, concentrated more. That's what people said. Friday night pub car parks were full. Everyone drove. Leaving your car meant you were too drunk to walk. If you could walk, you could drive. The culture changed slowly over the years. By the 2000s, drink driving became something people looked down on. In the 70s, your dad drove home from the pub every weekend and nobody thought twice. Remember when flying to Spain was different? Not just the prices, the security, or should I say, the complete lack of it. You'd walk onto the plane with your family, kids excited, parents relaxed, and during the flight, something magical would happen. The cockpit door would open, the captain or co-pilot would lean out, look down the aisle, spot a kid staring up at them. Want to come and see how it all works? You'd walk right into the cockpit, while the plane was flying, sit behind the pilots, sometimes even in the pilot's seat itself if it was a quiet flight. They'd show you the controls, explain what all the dials and switches did. You'd look out through that massive windscreen at the clouds, feel like you were flying the plane yourself.